So you're back for more, huh? You like this show, don't you? I knew it. But hey, if I'm wrong, let's just forget this ever happened, alright? But hey, we got a great show for you, and we have an awesome guest. Be right back.
That one's boxed away by Canice. Final chance. Score! Mazzone on the putback. Mazzone brings so much to this offense. Look at the confidence.
So this guy's from Stony Brook, New York, an absolute Long Island legend. His relentless drive and toughness made him a game changer as an All-American two-way midfielder for the Scarlet Knights lacrosse program. He currently works at Boeing in Seattle, Washington, and is a professional lacrosse player for the Archers Lacrosse Club. Not to mention his incredible taste in delis and pizza. Ladies and gentlemen, Christian Mazzone.
Wraparound shot, the backhander is the goal. Christian Mazzone, redshirt junior out of Stony Brook, New York.
Isolation here, bounce shot to the roof. Another goal for Christian Mazzone. Number 21, Christian Mazzone, never quit on the play.
Little backhand action here to put Rutgers in front.
How are things, man? How have you been handling all this? What's going on? I hope you and your family are healthy and safe. And haven't looked at the numbers in Seattle specifically. I probably should have done that, considering we did a whole podcast episode on the rising numbers. But there weren't that many FBS schools in the state of Washington, so we didn't focus on them too much. But how are you doing, man? What's going on?
Yeah, it was. I think it was kind of like where it all started. It's like it started in this town called Kirkland. That's where like that initial like breakout was with the nursing home, and that's like 25 minutes from where I live. So kind of weird that it was right here, but I've been doing good. I mean, I've been staying home a lot. Gyms are closed, obviously, working out outside and stuff. Mary and I working from home, so I mean, life honestly, it hasn't changed too much. It just got a lot more boring and staying home and stuff like that. But we're both staying safe, and my family's staying safe, so that's all I can be thankful for.
Yeah, man, you got to make sure the Seaport Deli stays in business.
Yeah, bro. I don't know what they're doing. I know they're still open, but
they'll be all right.
That place has no worries, bro. They make plenty of money every day.
Yeah, when you charge $14 for a sandwich, you're doing pretty well.
Is it worth it though? Do you think?
No, it was good. It was very good. It was very good. The bias in me will not say it's better than Milburn Deli, but it's very good.
Well, what are Milburn's prices?
The Milburn prices, yeah, I'd say it's like $9-10 a sandwich. It's pretty expensive too.
It's up there, so it's kind of like similar, you know.
So, dude, how have you been preparing for PLL season?
Yeah, I've been getting after it. You know, I mean, I was going to the gym when those were still open. Once this whole happened, like I had to change it up a little bit. You know, started doing like more body weight stuff and running and stuff like that. But we've started doing like O&D film, so I'm starting to learn the terminology for the archers and stuff like that. But you guys know me. I mean, I prepare hard, but really once it comes to game day, like I just lock in and focus up on that. So I'm just excited to get out there. We have testing in next week, and then we see if we're positive or negative, and if we get able to go or not. So we'll find out soon, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a sick time, and get to watch it on TV. It'll be real cool.
Yo, can you talk to Rabel? Can you be like, yo, my boys want Christian Mazzone number 6 jerseys? Can you be like, yo, put the merch online?
Maybe if I put up some G's in the series, I'll hit them up. But
you see my tweet?
I'm not going in there saying, yo, put my jersey up right now.
Did you see my tweet about Rex and all them in the MLL?
Yeah, bro. They should have jerseys too.
I literally said to them, I said, help me help you take my money because I want to spend it.
You should get like a triple jersey, like Michael I plus Rex.
Yeah. And a plus, you know, it's just like it's an amalgamation of everybody, you know, with Priscilla Lane too. Just have like
oh yeah, 100%.
Room for everybody.
Yeah, so going back to the Archers, what was that process like considering there was an entry draft and it's not like NBA free agency where you can like negotiate with teams individually?
Yeah, so once the MLL season ended, it was pretty quiet for a while. Like my initial plan for myself was to do well in the MLL and then make the transition to the PLL. And I mean, I didn't really know what I was expecting, but no one from the PLL reached out to me. And then I think what happened is I was talking to Jules, and I was like, yeah, I want to make the jump. Like, haven't heard from anyone. Like, and he gave me Tom Schreiber's number. And so Tom Schreiber and Kyle Harrison are kind of two guys that handle like new players coming into the league. So I spoke with Tom, and initially, how it was is like the coaches of the 7 teams were like compromising the pool of players that were going to be in the entry draft. And initially, I actually wasn't even in that pool, so that kind of bummed me out a little bit. But
that's the worst thing they could have done. Get you going.
I know. And then I actually reached out to the Atlas coach, Ben Rubior, just trying to take initiative. And I was like, I was just looking at rosters and teams that I thought I could fit in. And I reached out to him. I was like, hey, if I don't get picked in the entry draft, like, can I add myself to the player pool and maybe get picked up and come to training camp? So I was trying to go that route if things didn't work out. And then actually I got a call like a week or two later from Tom saying that I actually was in the entry draft and then got picked by the Archers, and the rest is history. But it was a little confusing and nerve-wracking, but Tom was really good throughout the whole process and stayed in contact with me. So appreciate that. And now I'm his teammate, so it works out funny. But
why did you leave the MLL for the PLL? You tell me why you thought you needed to make the change.
Yeah, so like I said, like that was literally like my goal going into it, was do well in the MLL and go to the PLL. And really the only reason is because the PLL, I think, has the best players in the world. I mean, there's great players in the MLL, but the overall collection of talent in the PLL, I mean, I don't think I'm making an absurd statement by saying that the PLL has the best talent in the world. I think that's common knowledge from everyone. And that's really the main reason. And I mean, the exposure and what the PLL is doing in terms of building their league and building brands and building players' brands up, that's just added stuff. But even if they weren't doing that and all the players were in my league, I still would have made the jump, just because I want to see how I compare to the best players in the world.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. The PLL has some great names, Paul Rabel, Rob Pennell, Tom Schreiber, probably the 3 of the best players like in the game right now. Have you felt like that the PLL has made you almost like more of a pro athlete? Because a big thing in the MLL was a lot of guys are working 2 jobs. I know you still work 2 jobs, but one of the initiatives I think Paul Rabel was trying to get with the PLL was that they were trying to get lacrosse players and being more pro athletes, trying to grow the game. Do you think that is probably why? I know that's why you switched. But you think that's a great platform for more players in the future to just pick the PLL over the MLL? Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to talk bad about the MLL. Like,
of course
I
not.
I didn't have any problems with like anything. Like, I mean, yeah, there were red eye flights and stuff like that, but that's not an issue. But yeah, the PLL definitely seems a little bit more professional, and that's trending up. I mean, even the whole like coronavirus protocols that they put in place, I mean, it's actually like mind blowing to see like them talk about it and how much planning and care and like making sure everything is perfect goes into it. So yeah, that definitely makes me feel like a professional athlete. And like with all the sponsorships and stuff that they're doing and all the media stuff that they got going on, I definitely feel like it's, trending in the right direction in terms of making lacrosse a professional sport that not only us as lacrosse players understand how much actually goes into it, but, it could go to the general public, and hopefully with the exposure on TV, people will start to see that it's a real sport that takes some true athleticism.
Yeah, I think that with the PLL taking the airtime that the Olympics were going to have this year being canceled, I think it's only going to expose the game more to have more eyes look at it, because obviously lacrosse has expanded over the last decade, but having those eyes and having a better TV deal compared to the MLL is only going to increase the visibility of the sport, and that's going to make it so much better.
Yeah, and I mean, the betting too is going to be cool.
I forgot about that, yeah.
I think lacrosse, like, the swings in lacrosse and momentum swings, like when you're talking in terms of betting, like that's going to drive some people crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, because like, you see like teams are up 6 goals and then it's tied up like that, So I think people are going to get kind of hooked on it because, I mean, the thing with sports betting, right, that people love is like the adrenaline rush that you get when you're doing it, right? And I don't think any other sport really has those like momentum swings like lacrosse does.
If you want to care about something, put money on it. Because the first thing that came back was the match with Phil, Tom, Peyton, and Tiger, and I have never watched a golf match before in my life, but I put some money on it, and I was like glued to the TV. I was like, when Peyton hit the ball in the woods, I was like, oh, my over's looking pretty good on that first hole. I'm Peyton.
Yeah, dude. Once it's your money's on the line, that's the only thing that matters.
Now, the Archers, the team vibe. So there's a couple guys I've had interactions with. Brendan Fowler's a great guy, great friend who I've known for a while. I've had some interactions with Scott Ratliff. He's a super awesome guy. Seems like the coolest teammate ever. And then I've seen all the stuff on social media with all those guys. This seems like such a great group of guys. But how hard was it to leave your Bleav teammates, which are now the Barrage?
Yeah, that was really difficult, honestly. We developed some great relationships. I got great friends with Tommy Palasek, TJ Comizio, and then we had all the Canadian influence with like Shane Jackson, Mark Matthews, Brian Cole, Randy Stats. I mean, and the team was amazing. Yeah, that was tough to leave those guys, but the opportunity was too big, I guess.
So I think you landed in pretty much the ideal place. I mean, you look at the PLL coaches, all great coaches, but the one who has the most familiarity with you, one would think would be Chris Bates with his background at Princeton, having played against you and us for 3 years, 2000. Honestly, actually, maybe a little bit more. So, because your first year at Rutgers was 2014, so 14, 15, 16, and 17, or was he? No, I think he was.
I think he might have been
16, right?
I think he was gone after 16, but yeah, I got to play against him. But yeah, I definitely think it's like the perfect fit in terms of all the PLL teams. The 2 coaches I talked to were him and Ben Rubior for the Atlas before the entry draft stuff. But yeah, I think it's a good fit. And with the players they lost, I kind of slide in right there and kind of fill that void a little bit and get to work with Tom Schreiber on that.
Oh yeah, best player in the world. Well, arguably best player in the world. That's going to be awesome to watch you guys.
With him and Tom, and Grant at X. I mean, all I really got to do is get open and just put the ball in the net. So that would be nice.
So Mazzo, you've kind of you've handled adversity really well throughout your career. I mean, you tear your ACL as a freshman, and then you're a star. You play all these different roles. You're a huge reason for why Rutgers makes the jump from mediocrity to elite in college lacrosse. And then fast forward to your time, you get drafted by Ohio in the 3rd round, and you're not on the dress list. What has been the key for you in handling those tough times?
I think the key is really just to just keep going. I mean, don't dwell on shit that you can't really control. I mean, with the Ohio stuff, like, that shit just pissed me off, but it didn't stop me from continuing to go out and work on my game and work on my body. I knew eventually that another opportunity would come. And with the ACL stuff, that was tough, and that definitely took like a little mental block that I had to get over with. I mean, just like putting in perspective and looking back at my time at Rutgers, I wish after my ACL I kind of had the mindset I had my senior year in terms of do everything that you can to make yourself the best player, because although I was an integral part on those 2016, 2017 teams, I think if the 2018 version of me happened in 2016, and I could have controlled that if I put my mind to it, I just didn't. We could have been maybe a different team, and I could have had a different career there with maybe more success than just the senior year as much. But it's just keep going, keep doing what you can, and try new things that work for you. If you don't try it, you never know how you feel about it. So that's kind of my motto.
That's awesome, man. And it's like I'm going to take some credit for you getting over that mental hump, because I remember my first semester at Rutgers was you coming back from the ACL, I think like third or fourth practice, like I'm feeling pretty good about my ability to D up people. I'm like, well, we're doing one-on-ones. I'm like, oh, this guy who's actually the one person I found on the team who's shorter than me. Then I'm like, okay.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't think that's true.
Oh, come on. It's true. And then I'm like, oh, he's got this knee brace on. Oh man, he's not gonna have any shake. I got him. And you shook me out of my shoes, broke my ankles, and I'm like, yo, this kid's legit.
I mean, yeah, I have a similar memory. I mean, my freshman year, I came in a year after Schoen, and I saw Matt. You still had the knee brace on, and I think one day I was just like going to play defense. I played offense, and I was terrible at defense. But I like you swam me, and I was just like, this is Division I lacrosse. I gotta I gotta step my game up a little bit.
Yeah, bro. Don't worry, those happened to me my freshman year too. So.
Yeah, I mean,
Happens.
Yeah, that's how special of a player you were, man, and that's why we're doing this because we want people to see how special our Rutgers guys are because there's so many of us. Going back to you specifically, you're playing the field. So I look at you going into this PLL thing, and you're like, especially the 2-week turnaround, like you're a Swiss Army knife, jack of all trades guy who can do everything. And that's why I think you guys are probably going to be one of the favorites because you were a defensive midfielder your first 2 years back and a half, and you were an All-American in high school, and then you're a two-way midi with the Bleav, and make no mistake, MLL is still very good lacrosse. And so you're going into this 2-week tournament. You are a guy who can do everything. Yeah,
I know. I for some reason, I don't know why, like people don't even like understand that about me. That like
I know.
I was a D mid for 3 years and then changed to offense. Like it just like I don't know if they're just not talking about it or just not like they don't know. But yeah.
They just don't know. They don't know what they don't know, bro. I
guess so. Yeah.
It's not their fault. We just got to let them know.
I was just gonna say with the PLL, they've changed the rules. They've shortened the field. It's a 52-second shot clock. It's almost become more like a basketball game. It's really up and down. It's becoming, as we see in basketball, it's more positionless. So you don't really see centers anymore. Everybody's got to be able to dribble. Everybody's got to be able to shoot. Have you talked to Coach Bates at all about like what your role will be, or is it just almost going to be like an amoeba, like you're going to mold to like whatever the team needs in that sort of situation because that's how you kind of play?
Yeah, no, I've talked to Coach Bates about it. He definitely is aware of my versatility. Like Sean said, like he coached against us when I was playing D mid when he was at Princeton, and he watched some film back with the Bleav, and his kind of communication to me has been that I will be more of an offensive role, but I am one of those guys that we have the two middies running to the box. Like I'm going to be the guy getting in the hole and stopping transition and stuff like that. And I know they have some great D mids in Dominique, Mark McNeil, and Tyler Pfister who run the wing. But like Sean said, in this 2-week crazy ass tournament where we're going to be playing games all the time, like I imagine I'll be stepping up and taking some wings. And that stuff really, that's what gets me going. Like a wing run gets my mind focused. And picking up a tough ground ball, like that just gets me into the game, and then it kind of just settles in from there. And I just let it come to me then.
But I always say that people don't realize how tough. I know you're going to be playing over the field. That how tough the defensive midi position is, and people don't realize that. Don't watch lacrosse is how big of like a tough ground ball is. It's that extra possession that people don't realize. And I feel like that's where your role is going to be in the Archers. Obviously, you're going to be running transition and everything, but it's all those little things that you do is going to make you such an asset to the Archers that I think people are sleeping on, honestly.
Yeah, and I think, like, honestly, like, to your point, like, what I've been thinking about a lot is, like, when you get these crazy collection of talent and it's such a small roster, like, you have a guy like Tom Schreiber, right? And obviously no midfielder in the world is better than Tom Schreiber. But then you get someone coming in from college who was the guy at their place, and they were the Tom Schreiber of their school. They don't know how to now play with a star because they've always been the star. So I think me being kind of like a guy who's not necessarily like Jules type, who easily offensive initiator. He has the ball. Like, we all play off of him. Like, I've learned how to do that. So I'm just coming in there. Like you said, I'm going to do the dirty work, and I already know how to work off these star players. I don't need the ball in my stick necessarily to make an impact like some other people do.
But I think that's where you make the most impact, like in between the lines. Like Coach Breck calls you a warrior, and I couldn't agree with him more. And I think guys like Fowler and Bones, Stephen Kelly, they're going to love you on the wings, because I was listening to Greg's podcast, The Stripe, and he was talking about how many transition goals were scored off the face-off. So let's say we have you, Bones, and Dominique or something on the wing. Like, I don't think people realize like what a problem you guys are going to be in those transition situations. Coach Bade's a smart guy. Like, he could craft all sorts of crazy stuff to do with you guys. I'm really excited to watch.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I love creating transition off the face-off. It all started with Nards and Sicko and Banks back in the day, man. We ran that shit so hard. But, yeah, that's going to be fun. I just hope I get to
good old Rutgers NASCAR.
Yeah, Rutgers NASCAR, bro. Just run them in transition.
But probably, I know you mentioned this before. Obviously, with COVID going on, and you guys have to do all Zoom meetings and everything, you can't really be in person. How has the camaraderie been between everybody? I know that it's a shortened season, but do you feel like you guys have the opportunity and feel like you guys are comfortable with each other enough to compete for a championship?
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, they got their core guys, so they have a good chemistry already. And the new guys like me, Grant, Eli coming into it, like they've already kind of brought us into the fold. I wasn't able to go down to Utah and hang out with them like Grant and Eli, but I mean, the Zoom meetings, I mean, I'm a little bit of like a little bit of social anxiety a little bit. I don't like the Zoom meetings too much because I haven't.
Just pretend you're in the Robinson basement, bro.
Yeah, it's like yeah, I've never really met you guys, but here's my face and I'm in my house. Like, what's up? Like, it's a little awkward for me, but they've been like, it hasn't been like anything. Now I'm like, fuck these guys. Like, they're great guys, and they've been integrating me into the fold. So I'm just excited to finally get to meet them in person and get to play with them on the field and become good friends with them off the field.
So let's go back to Rutgers. So, like, how do you think your Rutgers experience prepared you to handle professional lacrosse and handling your job in the process? Because obviously most lacrosse players, they're full-time lacrosse players, or they are a full-time coach, or they're a full-time lacrosse player, or they're a lawyer, or they're they're on Wall Street or something like that. How do you think, for the guys who are going to be potentially in your position coming up and people looking at Rutgers, how did that prepare you both professionally and both professionally in lacrosse and professionally in the real world? And you know what? Professionally as a person.
Yeah, I think my time at Rutgers really helped me, especially those last 2 years. I think in the beginning at Rutgers, I was still kind of immature and wasn't really focused on, what could be ahead of me in terms of professional stuff and also athletics if I really put my mind to it and put myself out there all the time. And that really changed my junior and senior year. And that just changed with forming more close friendships with certain people on the team, or just kind of self-reflecting of what I really wanted out of my Rutgers career. And I've just carried that on after I graduated. And that really has helped me. And I don't think if I had that revelation in college that I'd be playing professional lacrosse right now. I think I'd be, just in a dead-end job that I don't want to be in, instead of getting to have fun and play lacrosse still. So I attribute it to me just growing up, and I think Rutgers helped me, especially the type of team chemistry and team environment that we started to create at the end there. I think that was a huge factor. So,
as someone who saw you grow, man, and I guess we kind of grew up together, it's beautiful to see, and that's awesome. I remember after that 2015 season that was so tough, I went home with you guys to you were living on Robinson Street, and you were like, it was like, I think the week we lost to Penn State on the road, it was a night game. It was like 4-hour drive back. We got back at like 4 a.m. and like it was the next day or that Monday or Tuesday, and you were like, yo, I'm out. I'm transferring to Providence. And I was like, I just got here. Why the hell did I come here? It's that bad? Damn.
Oh shit!
But yeah, then, dude, it was rough times. Honestly.
Yeah, but we grew up together, and I think it's prepared us. And we'll elaborate. We're gonna have Beat on. We're gonna elaborate more on the culture change with him.
Yeah.
He's a lot older than both of, or he's not that much older than us, but I think it's going to be great to talk to him and talk about the culture change and stuff.
We'll be right back with our interview with Christian Mazzone, but first a word from our friends at Simply Safe. What's the number one sign of a bad home security system? A home security system that's so complicated you never use it. That's exactly the type of system Simply Safe has spent a decade fighting against. Simply Safe was designed to be easy to use while protecting your home 24/7. Order online, open the box, place the sensors, plug it in, and your home is protected around the clock. It's that simple. Head to simplysafe.com/team and get free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee. That's simplysafe.com/team. It feels good to fear less. Now, back to Christian.
There's so much that goes into culture at a college team. And even, I mean, listen, I've never played pro lacrosse, but it seems like culture is a big thing in pro lacrosse too.
Yeah, the culture for pro lacrosse, I mean, it's definitely a little bit more like on your own because you only go and get to see them on the weekends. But in terms of like the accountability stuff that, that's really what started to change at Rutgers. I think that was a huge culture change for us, was holding people accountable for their actions. That's definitely true in pro lacrosse. I mean, people are like either like sending their workouts or like whatever it is in the group chat, like, everyone else on your team is working. So if you're not working, then what are you doing? So yeah, that's definitely true. And then going back to Beta, I mean, I would just like to say that Beta is definitely the catalyst for what Rutgers lacrosse is now. If there was no Scott Beta at Rutgers, I don't know where Rutgers lacrosse would be. He's probably still at the bottom of the Big Ten standing. So.
And you know what? That's kind of why we want to talk to him, because I agree with everything you just. I agree with everything you just said. I feel like he's a kind of person that, like, when you look at the way he plays, like, he makes everyone around him better. But the way he leads, he made all of us better versions of ourselves. And I feel like that's so powerful. And I feel like you guys, now I don't know that many of the guys on your team personally, but I feel like you guys have a lot of those type of guys. So I'm excited to see that. Like,
yeah, I think like with people like Scott Beta, like, there's two big things that make them great leaders. Is one, they lead by example, and two, they like mesh all personalities really well. Like, it all filters up to Beta, right? And he's able to mesh everyone together for one common goal, and we follow him. And that's what I get the same vibe from like Scott Ratliff and all the leaders and Tom Schreiber on the Archers team, is that similar, like, you can clearly tell this guy has his shit together. He's working his ass off, but he's also someone that anyone can go to for any problems, and he can kind of mesh the different personalities on each team, because you always find that on every pro sports team.
And that's why they're the best players in the world, man. Like all that stuff Wally used to say with controlling the controllables and vulnerability as a strength. Those guys are, I know it was kind of new for a lot of us at Rutgers, but those guys have been on it for a long time. That's why they've been as good for as long as they have been.
I know that we talked, but you mentioned a little bit, almost having a lot of lacrosse players have two jobs. They really only get together on the weekends. Lacrosse being the professional sport, is professional athletes, MLB, NFL, you name it, they only have one job, that's having to control their sport. So you, as a lacrosse player, have a job at Boeing, and you have a job being a professional lacrosse player. How hard is it to, I know you say it's, working out on your own and everything, how hard is it to manage working out and having a full-time job?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. I mean, because half your day is spent there, and you got your responsibilities there. But I mean, you gotta love. I mean, if you're a professional lacrosse player, you really gotta love lacrosse, right? Because, like you said, you have to go to work for 8 hours and then do your training either before or after. and you just got to get it in.
Yeah.
And I mean, I look forward to the training, so it's not like I'm dreading it while I'm at work. I'm looking forward to it. So it's tough to balance at times, but I mean, you just got to go with the grind, you know?
Have you ever thought about leaving either?
Yeah, if I was to leave, I would leave probably Boeing, just because I love lacrosse. I've been training kids more. You know, I coach out here, and I love doing that stuff. So hopefully one day.
Yeah, I was talking to OD. He said he loves having you out there.
Yeah, OD's the man. I've been working with Cityside too lately. So
yeah, OD's the man. We did. I'm coaching at Seton Hall Prep, and he's an alum. So he did a couple Zoom sessions with us, and it was cool to learn with him about the box game. Now, do you see yourself potentially going in a box? I think your game. I was actually watching the Syracuse Rutgers game today. It was on BTN on replay, and I see Jules feed it to you inside, like no room. You finished it. Like I feel like your game really could translate well to the box game. Would that be something you consider?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but I have been talking to one of the NL teams. So
you get some breaking news.
I wanted to.
Yo, don't tell Inside Lacrosse, bro. You got to tell us. You got to leak it to us, bro. We wanted to get Kieran on and to break the news he was coming back. And
is he coming back?
Yeah, he is coming back.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us have him on.
He wrote a whole article. He wrote a whole article in Sports Illustrated. Said I'm coming back to New Brunswick. So.
I actually think they're going to be pretty loaded this year.
And they got the first kid now. So.
Good thing you're not living in that house anymore.
Oh, I was going insane in that house, especially that back room. That was the worst room in the world.
Oh yeah, that's because like every time we have a party and like they go through your room to get to anything.
Yeah, to get in. I was the back door.
You're like Harry Potter living under the stairs.
It was worse.
That's crazy. I remember when you moved in there. That was hysterical because whatchamacallit, everyone would always like sit on your bed and shit, and I was like, oh no, Mazzo's gonna be pissed.
Yeah, I know.
Get the hell off his bed.
My senior year, I was like not even into my fifth year. I was like not into the whole drinking every fucking weekend scene anymore. And like there was one party where I like went to the library because I was like my room just got overtaken.
Yo, that's actually a good segue to this question. What do you think about? So obviously we know a bunch of Rutgers alumni. We are recent graduates. What do you think of? It used to be college lacrosse used to be, kind of this one big party. Like you kind of do your thing as a student, you do your thing as a lacrosse player, and there's not as much buy-in, there's not as much money into the sport. But then now everyone's taking it seriously from top to bottom across the country. What do you think about, like, obviously I think the sports science and all that stuff tells you got to take care of your body, you got to eat right, you got to practice and all that good stuff, which is proven to improve performance, and you should do those things. But what do you think about the whole camaraderie aspect of it and the letting loose a little bit and being more of a human being sometimes?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been thinking about, like, I was thinking about my time at Rutgers and like what it was, and it kind of alludes to what you're saying. Like my first couple of years there, I was more focused on the partying than lacrosse. And I think that reflected on field. I think I was a good enough player to have a spot on the field, but I mean, I was not. I played my role as a defensive midfield to the best of my ability, but I was by no means happy that I was playing defensive midfield. I think I could have been doing way more for the team.
Oh God, I remember when you and Coach Mitch got into it. That was like a turning point. Yo, you and me actually got into a fight in the middle of that film session.
I know. And honestly, I mean, I was wrong. I should have, instead of feeling like resentment or some type of way towards the coaches, I should have been doing everything I could to make sure that I wasn't what the type of position I wanted to be with all the work I was doing outside of practice. But that's not what I was focused on. I was focused on the partying. Now, fast forward to those last 2 years where my role kind of changed. I was strictly focused on lacrosse and pretty much was like no drinking. And I think that was not the right way to do it either. I think as a captain on the team, I think I was so narrow-minded and I want to make the NCAA tournament and be a star player and hopefully win a championship. And if you're not doing everything that I'm doing, then you're wrong, was totally not the way I should have been a leader. I think I should have been better at, handling all the different personalities on our team to come to one common goal and coming up with compromises on each side. I think that would have been a way better way to look at it. So I think in terms of your question, lacrosse should be the number one priority, but by no means let it take over your college experience. There's no reason why you can't get all the work you need to do to be the player you want and still have some fun with your friends on Saturday or on Fridays and Saturdays. Just, don't abuse it like I kind of was my freshman and sophomore year.
Oh man, that's some great advice, man. Honestly, I totally feel that because me, I was kind of the same way in terms of like laser focused into lacrosse, and it just gets in your head, man. It just becomes like a burden.
Yeah, and I think definitely once after like lacrosse is obviously still something I'm all about, but like I do stuff outside of just training for lacrosse that eases my mind, and it's not always drinking and stuff like that, but you got to have those balances,
and you don't have to like go absolutely like go on a bender to do something to get your mind off of lacrosse. I think some people, especially the college kids, they get that confused. You can obviously have a good time every now and then, but go play the guitar, like go join a club. Go do something cool. Like go play some golf. Go do something like that. That takes your mind off of lacrosse because it can consume you.
Yeah.
There's definitely also too much fun though. There's definitely a thing of too much fun. Definitely
100%,
too much fun.
That's what I was just gonna say, Taters. Like nowadays, like if I go and have a drink, like I'm drinking like maybe one or two, maybe three like mixed drinks. Like in college, my freshman sophomore year, like I was just pounding alcohol for no reason.
I was doing the same thing. Like, as soon as I got to college, it was basically like, hey, the reins are off. I can do whatever I want. And I probably gained like 20 pounds. And, my high school coach looked at me and be like, Ryan, you look like you gained 20 pounds. And I was like, no, I didn't. But I really did.
Oh, Lovejoy lets you have it, probably.
And you could.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like you can still go out like with your friends Friday, Saturday and not absolutely bomb out and have a good time and be part of the team. You know what I mean? Like, just like don't feel any pressure or anything like that to like go out and just get completely wasted because that's not really fun for anyone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's crazy because I feel like when you're like you put in all that hard work and then let's say you win the game and then you have a good time, like that almost counts as like 5 days of like a shit, like just a random Tuesday night or something, like when things aren't going well.
Random Tuesday nights are my specialty.
You got Taters, send it at Queen.
Oh my God.
Taters, did Taters tell you he had 55 beers this fall in one day?
That's insane.
Yeah, I was a different person.
What time did you start?
I started at 8 a.m. and I finished at 2 a.m. the next day. So.
Yeah, you got to get on. Chad started introducing the ultras. Remember that?
It was. I don't know. I was having like 3 an hour. I don't know. I was just in a different world.
That day.
Yeah.
It was a college football Saturday.
Oh yeah, it was a college football Saturday. I was wearing a white shirt.
That might be a valid excuse then,
All right, so we're gonna end the interview. We have 5 questions. We're gonna give these to Nardella and Jules too. So the first question, right? So it's gonna be rapid fire in the honor of Craig Kilborn. 5 questions. So favorite RU bar?
Ooh, I guess Queens. Fuck that. I like the other one. What's that one called? Huey's?
Huey's?
Nightclub?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with Huey's. Queens is too crowded.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Corona, it's a little bit too crowded there. I mean,
What do you say? Huey's is crowded too, though.
More space, though.
They
You
just
could
let
chill on the
people
back
in,
wall.
though. They just let people in.
Number two, upstate New York or downstate New York?
Is downstate New York like Yorktown and stuff?
Yorktown, Long Island, all that.
NYC,
Oh,
yeah.
come on, downstate. If Long Island's in downstate, then downstate. Long Island's its own thing in my head.
I know. It's your it's your own thing.
Cruz
West
used to
Coast-
get so pissed when I'd be like, Yorktown was upstate. Like, bro, I go north to get to you, so you're upstate.
He was probably like, yo, it's all about the Y, and then showed you his Y tattoo.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think that's actually what happened. So.
My cousins live in Utica, that's like actually upstate, but
That's upstate.
Yorktown's
That's
like
Canada.
it's like it's a completely different world. West Coast or East Coast?
West Coast.
Whoa.
Really? Wow.
It's nice out here, guys.
Oh, man, it's nice, but it rains out there.
It does rain a decent amount, but honestly, Washington gets a bad rap. It's more just gray. It doesn't rain too much.
Wow.
Favorite, funniest Rutgers memory? Could be quick.
Well, you could tell a story.
Either, I'm trying to think of like the first two that popped in my head was Breck throwing the Gatorades into our locker room and saying, "You guys take," or him calling out 133 Lewis on the Penn State bus. That was hilarious.
Take. You never give. And the last one to get some headlines. Will the Archers win the PLO championship in 2020?
Come on, bro. Yes, of course.
Love it.
Come on.
Headline grab.
August 10th. That's the day the Archers win the ship.
Oh, I got one more for you, actually.
Mark it down.
Bonus question. I got a bonus question for you. All right, so you're on defense. You get switched on to Jules. Who's winning that matchup?
I am.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm jamming him hard.
Jam him hard.
He's gonna try to juke me right, go left. I'm gonna jam him hard.
Hey man, Juke Lab, bro. Gotta watch
You're taking it to the Juke Lab.
Yeah, I'm gonna be over aggressive. He's not gonna be ready for it. Disrupt his move.
Oh, all right.
We're not even gonna play him though. Only playoffs.
Oh, I didn't look at the schedule. I probably should have did that as a new talking head.
Well, you're gonna beat him in the playoffs then, so
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, dude. So listen, Mazzo, you're actually the first ever guest of this podcast.
Look at that.
Congratulations.
Recurring guest.
Recurring guest. Notch in my belt.
Yeah,
Yep.
man.
You guys gotta send me a shirt.
Yep, I gotta send you a shirt, and then every time I ask, you have to come on, no matter what.
Yeah, dude, we are working on
those are
some
the rules.
merch.
Those are the rules. But
Get
anyway,
me someone. I'll rep you guys.
Thanks, brother. Hey, really appreciate you coming on, man. I only expected like 20 minutes. We got like 35, 40 minutes. Like, really?
make this a whole podcast, bro.
Yeah, we could. Honestly, we could.
Yeah, bro, this is fun.
Hey, you made it to the end, or I'm just talking to myself and Ryan.
You stay classy, Piscataway.